Hey, what's happening, guys? It is Friday, the 26th of February. Hopefully, everybody had a good night last night. It was a great night of NBA. Nothing like those nights where your team actually wins and your DFS stuff and your betting stuff wins. If only every night would work out that, right? This would be so much more fun if every night was a winner. But if it was, good for you. Keep it going. If it wasn't, today is a brand new day, and let's get back after it. Hopefully, we can all find a way to make ourselves some money tonight, guys. So click the thumbs up button, and let's talk about this DFS slate. All right. So, first things first, today's show is brought to you by our good friends over at Jazz Sportsbook. Did a short video yesterday on picking the Wizards to not only cover the 7.5, but also get some money into beating the Blazers last night. So that one worked out. I'm hoping at least one of you actually put a few bucks down on that. It always makes me feel good when you get something right and other people get to take advantage of it. So I'm hoping at least one of you was able to do that, guys. If you didn't, we have been doing a lot more sports talk over here. We've aligned ourselves and partnered up with the good friends over at Jazz Sportsbook. If you want to sign up and try giving them a whirl, they have excellent customer service. They've been in business for over 20 years, same-day payouts. Everybody I've been dealing with that signed up to play under them has been able to withdraw their money very easily. It's jazzsports.ag. And if you want a free 5-pack membership, when you sign up, just use the promo code 5-pack. If you do that and make an initial deposit, let me know that you did so I can get you a free DFS 5-pack membership. Low rollover bonuses. You can watch your favorite games through the live Jazz TV feature. Easy payout, same-day payouts. We've had a lot of, good conversations with them. And from our customers who have signed up to use them, the experience has gone very well so far. So we'll be continuing to promote them, and the promo code is 5-pack. Sign it up for a monthly membership today. Get a $20 rebate on month one. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. And let's talk about some of our favorite plays of the day. Now, as far as cash lock for the day, there's some good cash game plays in this one. No doubt about it. There's some good GPP plays on the slate. There's going to be a lot of guys you're going to want to take a look at. One of the main guys that's going to make my lineups tonight as of right now is going to be cover boy for the day, Detroit Pistons. We'll use star in air quotes, Jeremy Grant. So the price take's down to 7,300, which is a very affordable price take for him. I got two things about Grant that I like a lot. One, the Sacramento Kings defense is just back to being atrocious. Last night in the write-up recommendation for customers, it started with Quickly at point guard, Rose at shooting guard, Alec Burks at small forward. All three of them balled. And that is because, well, one, there was no Elf, but two, it's because the Sacramento Kings can't play defense to save their lives right now. They've lost a lot of games recently, and big part of that is the fact that they can't stop anyone. I am not a very good basketball player, and I'm sure there's four of you out there who aren't very good at basketball. I think if the five of us got together, we could find a way to put 100 on the Kings right now. Their defense is just, it's awful. So I like Jeremy Grant. The other thing I love about Jeremy Grant today is he's had some lower production moments in recent history over the last 15 games or so. He's had a couple times where he's dipped. He's always bounced back real big after 2 days off, which he's now getting again right here. Now, that's a small sample size of how many times he's bounced back. So it's not like a big enough sample size that I think it's the end-all, be-all. But in a game, for a player that I like, in a spot that I like, it's just another real thing to look at for me as for why I would take the plunge right here. Because he has a decent amount of games lately in the 20s, which is not great off a salary of 7,300. But this is a crush spot. It's a good player who plays big minutes, has high usage, does a variety of different things. I like Jeremy Grant a lot today, and I think the price tag is more than fair for him. Next up, speaking of price tags that are more than fair, there's a bunch of them on the slate. There's a bunch of guys who are too cheap right here. Take a look at Kyle Lowry of the Toronto Raptors. So he is going to be too low owned today because there's a bunch of good point guard options. So the unfortunate part about using him is you are using up a point guard spot, whether that's the point guard utility spot. You're using a spot that, is very desirable, and you have to really, make your best choices right there. However, dude's way too cheap today. So, just even if you want to look through his recent production in the month of February, for example, he's got GPP value in 5 of 9 games. He lost one game due to injury where he left right away, so can't really hold that against him. But he's had a bunch of big games. He's only 7K as he takes on his former team tonight. He looked the part last game. So he was coming back from a minor back injury, I think it was. Didn't look like he had any issues at all. He played a wonderful game, so I'm not really concerned about that one right here either. I breaking it down as simplistically as he's way too cheap. But guess what, guys? He's way too cheap. Look at his, like I said, look at his production throughout the month of February. This is a guy who consistently hits his floor with upside to boot. So if you don't get here because you like other point guards, I understand. There's a lot of good point guard plays most nights, and there's definitely a lot of good point guard plays today. However, at 7K, got to feel good about your odds of getting to at least cash game value with Kyle Lowry right here, and knowing that upside is also a very, very reasonable possibility in this one. All right, next up, Gordon Hayward. Let me sip my coffee, and I'll be right back with you. Hayward is another one of these guys who just seems like he is massively underpriced for how the slate breaks out. So he gets a good spot against the Golden State Warriors. Recently lost to this team. He did not play his best game in that one, so perhaps he'd be a little bit extra motivated today. So he's a high floor play. At a price tag of $6,700, we have seen Gordon Hayward darn near 8K before. Now, we haven't seen the big GPP value from him in a couple weeks. Okay, that's part of the reason he's cheaper today, but he still comes with a very high floor. And I think we all know that, like, for him to 7X on this price tag, which means essentially to score in the mid 40s, we've seen him do that on, if I had to guess, 8-9 occasions already this year. So the ability for him to hit GPP value right here is real. But he also comes included with a nice floor right here. So I think Gordon Hayward's going to be high enough owned. You can use him in cash games. But if you just think he's a good play, use him anywhere, right? Like, he's got a real opportunity just to roll into like 38 points today. And why that may not be a monster difference maker on your slate, if I told you a guy was going to score 38 DK points off of 6,700, that's a really safe person to put in your lineup. So you can try to pray, get your upside somewhere else, but that's a very consistent type of play. So he's got both floor and ceiling that are desirable today. He's in a good spot, multiple position flexibility, being able to use him at the 3 or the 4. Also, the mid-tier, which we just talked about yesterday with the studs not being priced up, is very desirable so far. We don't have any Giannis on this slate. There's no Harden, for example. There's no Jokic. So I'm liking some of these mid-tier plays. Now, hopefully we don't have so much cheap value that you feel the need to use studs on this slate. All right, next up, Jay Crowder of the Phoenix Suns is a long shot of the day. This young man, well, maybe he's not young, but he's younger than I am, so I can still call him a young man. Big price drop over the last week or so. And I'll say it's preferable for him if Dario Saric is out today, who's currently listed as questionable. Not that he's not a long shot play either way. There's a preponderance of forwards. 2 of them we brought up already. We know we got a bunch of those OKC guys who are going to be real chalky today. That's going to keep a guy like Jay Crowder really, really low owned. Well, he has a good matchup with the Chicago Bulls right here. Bounce back game for the Suns. He's going to be very low owned because of all those other forwards. And if Saric is out, this is a guy who could play 28, 29, 30 minutes today. If he gets hot from 3 again right here, he's a guy who could easily roll into 30 to 35 DK points at only 4,500. He's a guy that, while I have him listed as long shot, especially if Saric is out, I'm fine with him in all formats. But I like the fact he's going to come in with low ownership today due to all the other forwards that we have at our disposal. All right, next up, Dennis Schroder of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's listed as questionable, but that's more than probable. He's questionable right now. It sounds like how LeBron's been questionable every game this year. He's going to play. So I'm still trying to get a grasp on Schroeder's ownership. He is currently listed as very, very projected low ownership, although with how low it is, I do think that's a byproduct of being listed as questionable and not having played. So it hasn't really been factored into those equations yet. So I'm not really sure. I don't have a good feeling about how chalky he's going to be on the slate. He could be, 2% or 50. I'm trying to get a gauge on this one. I don't have it as of right now this morning. He's in a great spot though tonight against the Blazers. So, something I do say a lot is I don't always care how owned somebody is. If they're a good play, they're a good play. Honest, the last couple of slates, he's been big time chalk, but he's just been a really, really good play every time. So you can play him in all formats. Schroeder and Giannis are not the same, but he's a good spot right here against Portland. Lakers obviously in dire need of some wins right here. And while some people want to pretend like the sky is falling, we've seen good teams with low points this year, but this is a great opportunity for the Lakers to add a body, add a good player, and get back into at least being more competitive after getting embarrassed the other night, but potentially win the game against the Portland Trailblazers tonight. So Schroder should have a real nice usage rate and a nice number of possessions where he's ultimately either getting the assist or getting the shot attempt on his own. So I like him a lot at 5,900. I like a point guard with shooting guard responsibilities. You got to kind of let him take over a little bit in these games and let LeBron, who's obviously a much older player, cyborg as he is, get a little bit of rest before they wear him out for the playoffs. So I think Schroeder's going to be hungry. Having sat out and watched this for the last 7 to 10 days and not being able to participate, I think you see a very assertive and aggressive Denver Schroeder today. He might be a bit cold from the floor to start the game, but he's going to play big minutes. He's going to play hard. He's going to find a way to get to the hole, and he's going to find a way to produce DFS points for us. So check back later in the day for whether or not this is a cash game or a long shot. As of right now, I don't really have a good feeling on how highly owned he's going to be, but I will be continuing to check in on that throughout the day. So, guys, that is it. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Have a wonderful Friday, and we'll see you guys later for some sports betting info.